Thank you again for joining us today for this information session about the Bachelor of Design program. We'll open up with introductions from Asma Arslan and Yvonne Sheck, who will share a bit more information about themselves and the program. Asma, Yvonne?
Everyone. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, great. So my name is Asma. I'm very happy to have you here. Welcome. You have stumbled upon a really good design bachelor's program. Our specialization is UX, and we do lots of fun things. So I can't wait to talk to you about that. A little bit about me. My name is Asma Arslan. I'm a creative director and a user experience design professor. I've been full-time at Humber for about 2 years. Besides that, I was teaching on and off at different schools in Toronto, including Ryerson and Western. I teach user experience design everywhere. Design thinking is my forte. And I teach in different programs along the way. So you'll probably see me in first year, and then you'll probably see me again in second year, and so on and so forth. We have a really fantastic team. I can't wait for Yvonne to jump in and talk to you a little bit, and then I'll take you through our slides and tell you more about the program.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Sheck, and I'm a new prof at Humber. I'm extremely happy to be here today to tell you how wonderful the program is. I come from about 25 years of industry experience, so I'm new. It's my first semester at Humber, at anywhere, and I love the idea of bringing industry experience to our students. And preparing them for the road ahead.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. I'm so excited to hear everything about things you have to say, because Yvonne is a very welcome new addition. We need people from the industry to help our students sort of gear up. And she's so current that she knows what's going on actually right now in Toronto and other places, because UX is expanding. And I've realized, can you all see my screen? My screen is shared. Is everybody able to see my screen? Yes. Okay, great. So what I was saying is that UX industry is in a way a little bit infant, but at the same time, it's multiplying at the speed of light. And I feel like Toronto, Ontario, Waterloo, this part of Ontario is going to be a hub for technology, if not already, in the next few years. And user experience design is something that is very deeply woven into all kinds of new innovative digital experiences. So welcome to talking about our Bachelor's of Design program with a UX focus. Let's get started with, I just want you to know how glad I am that you're here and you found us. And I'm looking forward to our conversation where I can hear from you and we can have nice question and answers, and I can give you more clarity on what the program does. So to begin with, I am not the coordinator of this program. Sarah English is the one on your left. She couldn't join us today, so I'm just conducting the session for her. I'm a full-time professor in the Bachelor's of Design program as Yvonne and as Vishal. Vishal is also a full-time professor in the program. Besides the four of us, there are professors from other programs that we share, people who have their expertise in interaction design, people who have their expertise in psychology, people who have their expertise in digital marketing. There is so much expertise all around our cluster. We're set within a cluster of interaction design programs. The four of us belong to the UX design program, but we have at least 20 other professors from other programs that come and teach in our program all the time. Those are full-time professors that I'm talking about. Besides that, we also have industry people, creative directors, design directors, people who are working at corporations, people who are doing UX work in Toronto. They come and they share a few hours every week with our students as visiting faculty. So I feel like we're a very rich program in terms of faculty skills and expertise that we'd be sharing with our students. And I think our students are pretty happy with us. We're a very friendly bunch. We try to maintain good interpersonal relationships with our students. And we share whatever and more that we can with our students in terms of knowledge. I want to ask you this question. So I wish we were all in class. Like, this open house has been a lot of fun when we're all together. And I can see you and you can see me. So I'm just going to start with asking you this question. What is UX, and why do you think you want to learn more about UX, or are you just here to find out what UX is?
And to those of you at home, I would just invite you right now to, if you feel like answering, please submit it in the chat.
Have you heard about user experience design, and what do you generally know about UX? And Natalie, I'll just let you read them out for me.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just give you, everybody at home, another minute to stop typing. I know I'm a slow typer some days.
So am I. And we also have some nice questions popping in. So we'll go through all your questions right after the presentation. Our presentation shouldn't take very long.
We have a comment from Tokyo who says, I'm coming from knowing a lot about industrial design.
Amazing. Welcome. Anybody else?
I think we might have a quiet group initially, so maybe maybe another. Maybe if you want to start sharing a little bit about what UX is, then maybe we might have a few more jump in.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm just.
Sorry, just a follow-up comment actually from Tokyo. I just wanted to share. Sorry to interrupt there. It's a person's emotions or attitudes about using a particular product, system, or service.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tokyo. That's really valuable feedback. And I just want to sort of warm up and ask you guys and ask you to engage with us as well. Since you're coming from an industrial design background, you already know that UX is sort of married to industrial design in a very interesting way, which is why I have the Philippe Starck lemon squeezer in front of you right now. This is actually sitting in the Modern Art Museum in New York, and it's worth a few millions. It was designed in late 1980s, and since then there has been a debate about this. The minute I saw this product in front of me, I couldn't tell it's a lemon squeezer. Yes, it's very beautiful. I'd love to have it at home, but how functional is it? So that's where the UX conversation comes in. How functional are these things versus the OXO peeler? This was designed after endless iterations that were done to find out what is the perfectly functional grip for somebody who may have, arthritis or some sort of pain in their hands, or their grip isn't too great. So think about how inclusive your design can be, at the same time respecting form. So UX design is that combination, and the debate has been on forever, whether form is more important or function is. And I feel like UX design is that perfect bridge between form and function. And we learn to design solutions and design experiences that are beautiful, but at the same time functional. This morning, I ended up looking at this image online, and I stole it for this presentation. It was very nicely explained what user experience design does versus what really good visual design does, right? User experience design solves problems, works with empathy for the user. There's a whole design thinking experience involved in user experience design, but at the same time, it looks pretty. The end goal of good UX is to design experiences that save the user's time, effort, they're functional, they're efficient, and they're easily workable. I'm going to share this quote from Steve Jobs with you. Design is not about what it looks or what it feels like. It's about how it works. And that's what UX is. That feeling design generates, how beautiful it looks, but at the same time, all those aspects are secondary. Design is all about how it works, how functional design is. User experience design has many different aspects. Some of these aspects are obviously your content strategy, visual design, functionality, how you're going to visualize your data, how do you group information, so planning out information architecture, planning out how your user will go from point A to point B, whether they're digital experiences or analog experiences, thinking about cognitive psychology. One of the main goals of UX is to sort of reduce the cognitive clutter, because there are so many things everywhere at this point. You're thrown with cognitive load at all times. So thinking about how you can sort of reduce the cognitive clutter, visual clutter, and at the same time get the job done. And usability, obviously, it's the backbone of user experience design. And if a experience, or even if an object, because you come from an industrial design background, you know, even if an object is not usable, it's not successful. Right? So user experience design is also based in analog as well as digital experiences. A question that a lot of times people ask in these open houses is, will I learn code? You will learn basic code, but you will not be developing any websites or apps, but you will be learning how to design perfectly smooth experiences, keeping all the technology that is available to us at this point, whether it's sensors in your mobile phone or AR or VR experiences, or working with artificial intelligence and your mobile and creating a solution that actually solves a valuable problem for somebody. At the end of the day, I would say we have an opportunity to create impact in somebody's life, not just design tech. Right? So a question that I'm also usually asked when we do this is, what will I be learning for the next 4 years? What will my 4 years look like? So you'll be doing a lot of hands-on practice. You'll be working with each other. There will be lots of collaboration. There will be lessons and lectures. There will be labs where we'll work together. You'll be doing group work, but at the same time, you'll be doing independent learning. You'll be hopefully back in school, but at the same time, you'll be doing some online modules as well. This is a very cross-disciplinary program. So you'll be learning about service design. You'll be learning about product design, industrial design, UI design, and user experience design. And these are all, I would say, different facades of experience design as a whole. And our courses are basically designed around the design process and the importance of learning about the user, asking the right questions, and the opportunities to see what are the different design directions one solution can take. Not all solutions manifest in a mobile app. And, you know, we're also sort of preparing, the key goal for us is to prepare you and our students to be career ready. To walk in an interview with a solid portfolio, enough experience of 4 years, to work, create solutions, but at the same time to take leadership roles in a few years after graduating. So it's a very deep, holistic program. I'll let you go on to our BDES website at Humber and have a look at all the courses offered to you in the next 4 years. Just to name a few, you know, we're doing foundational fundamentals of UX first semester. You learn about design theory. You learn about how to write as a designer. You learn about prototyping. Prototyping is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to show you some visuals about prototyping. We learn about how to work in team. What is the agile way to work currently if you go and join a team? You're going to learn a little bit about design history, design thinking, service design, UI design, the visual communication design courses about learning and understanding and interpreting visual experiences. There's a course on storytelling. Information architecture is a very thorough course. There's 2 information architecture courses. There's 2 service design courses as well. So I'm hoping by the end of the 4 years, you will have thorough knowledge of user experience design as a whole, and also enough pieces in your portfolio, enough polished pieces in your portfolio to speak about in detail. So there'll be not just the final pieces, there'll also be enough research that will back each piece in your portfolio. And most importantly, I'm hoping that you guys would be able to generate projects that would create impact. I feel like that's even more important than having fancy pieces in your portfolio, having projects that actually solve problems. So what will I be doing for the next 4 years? Definitely not this, because this is not a theory-based course. There's a lot of engagement. You'll make lots of friends. You will be doing a lot of hands-on work. We do use a lot of paper. Sorry about that. Environmentally, I know it's not the best thing to do, but that's how UX works. We use a lot of paper. And at the same time, we're slowly moving towards digital practices. We've started using digital prototyping tools and boards that'll help us collaborate and sort of work together. Yvonne, start coming in and chatting with me about anything that you see.
Sure. Our program is pretty well-rounded, as you can see. And because I teach the research and service design parts of the program, I can see that students start to get very excited about the possibility of design. Not only are we thinking about screens, but sometimes solving the problem could be just making a sticker to solve a problem, or providing a sign, some signage, or providing some training. And we get into all of that. So it is a very holistic program, and it's grounded in research because we don't want to guess. We don't want to go out there and start guessing products, features, whatever it is that's in our head, because a lot of times we don't understand the scenario, we don't understand users. So we have to first understand users and the context and the business before we go around improving things. What are we improving, right? So I teach that part of the course to make sure that we're solving the right problems. And right now, a lot of my students, they're actually working on exciting projects, such as solving COVID problems. So it's all there. It's as real as it gets. So very excited about the next step for you.
Amazing. And talk about creating impact, right? Solving COVID problems. Nice. So Yvonne, you have to keep coming back in as I'm talking about the things that they will be doing throughout the semester. So Yvonne is teaching service design at the moment, and she's teaching both the service design courses, which is why we're talking about bringing business into looking at the problem as a whole and not just a piece of technology. Technology is a part of the solution, not the entire solution, right? So you will be doing lots of paper prototyping, lots of pen and paper work. You'll be working, doing a lot of brainstorming. You'd be going through the entire design cycle, starting from empathy to ideation, to working through definition of the problem, sort of working through how you're going to prototype the solution. The solution could be analog or digital, and usually digital, because yes, this is a UX focused program. And at the same time, we'll talk about usability testing as well. Yvonne, do you want to also share a little bit regarding the service design course you're teaching?
It's all actually grounded in research. Right. So I start all my projects with my students with research, trying to find out what's needed, what people's pain points are, talking to people, doing all kinds of interviews, mainly interviews, ethnography, digital diaries,
nice,
survey. You name it.
Amazing.
And focus groups too. We do focus groups too.
And Yvonne, how has the, okay, I'm going to come back with that question. I have a question about remote learning and service design, but I'll come back in a little while about that. Okay, so we also teach a lot of UI design. You will be learning the some of the important softwares that are involved in UX, and namely, you know, Sketch, Adobe XD, and any other industry standard softwares. And we'll be learning basics of visual design. And actually, we'll be moving up from the basics to intermediate and advanced visual design as well. So you will be able to think of an idea, do your research, go through the entire design thinking cycle, and during your prototype phase, once you're done with your, say, wireframes, these are your digital wireframes, you go on to, you know, designing a user flow, into actually designing a prototype and how the prototype is going to interact. So there is softwares out there in the industry that help us without, you know, sort of doing any code. You can actually physically create interactive prototypes that actually look like the apps. So we'd be working through that. It's a really fun environment. We'll be also designing things like a shopping experience. How can we redesign, you know, a self-checkout? These are photographs from the self-checkout experience that we redesigned last year. I think we were working with Loblaws as an industry partner, and we did some work for them in terms of, you know, the entire experience and things like that. Here we're doing some card sorting. So card sorting is, again, a technique which helps us understand how to group information for anything that you're designing, whether it's an app, a website, an experience. So we'll be doing all kinds of fun things. It's a collaborative, colorful, fun classroom. We have music on, and work is usually just working on developing insights and finding the right questions, and then creating an idea, validating it, testing it, refining it, iterating it, and then creating a solid piece in the end that also creates impact, but at the same time you can walk in for a job interview because it is something quantifiable in your portfolio. We talk about best practices for collaboration, the different systems that are used for collaboration in the industry right now. What are the different models? You know, what are the work models? You know, working agile. How do we want to connect with each other? What are the industry standard softwares at this moment, and things like that.
So an interesting thing is, as Asma is showing the card sorting exercise, there are digital card sorting tools that we use in industry.
Yes.
And we went from paper to digital really quickly because we had to. Yeah. So our students are even getting a chance to do those things like right now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so we do a lot of journey mapping as well. We do, so you know what I'm trying to tell you is the kind of work that you will do is not just create an app, here's an app. You learn a lot about psychology of your user. You learn about how to validate, how to work with qualitative data, how to work with quantitative data, and how to sort of iterate and refine things along the way. It's a 4-year program. By the way, we even have a really great facility for eye tracking. It's called the Usability Lab. It's one of the best in North America. I have people, like last year, I had somebody from Europe just emailing me to inquire about our Usability Lab. We have the Tobii Pro eye tracking equipment. Tobii is the leader in eye tracking equipment. And we use our Usability Lab and the eye tracking equipment to find out how our UI is working and what are the points where the user's eye is moving and how we can fix them, or how we can sort of train the user's eye to move from point A to point B. It'll just help out with validating the UI design. So what will you be doing in terms of practice? You'll be doing a mix of theory and practice with design in mind. You'd be doing a lot of industry projects as well. I think we end up doing on an average 1 industry project every year, if not 2. So that gives you connections in the industry as well, and some relevant work that you can take as a portfolio piece. We'll be talking about the current tools and the methods that are being used in the industry. And just remember, it's a highly collaborative experience. So you will make a lot of friends. You will learn a lot about work ethic by the time you graduate. UX is a collaborative experience. We have capstone projects and student projects. They're usually, your capstone projects are larger projects, and they're usually industry driven, and they're group projects where they overlap through courses sometimes. So one capstone project can be done within 3 courses, and everything you learn in each course can be applied to the capstone project as well. And it also has, so these, I think each course, I'm not sure how many, but it says 4 course credits for the final year. So I'm thinking maybe you're going to have around 4 capstone projects. But I'll have to go on the website and check for you again. But capstone projects are really great for portfolio and experience both. Let me share some student work with you. Things we do, our students have done things like mobile apps. They've done things like, app to help habit forming, health apps. They've done wearable apps. They've done a website. Our capstone industry project was a website for Toronto Zoo. Last year, we did a website for a theater company in Toronto. There's a wayfinding AR app that we've done for Humber. We've worked with voice user interface. We learn infographics, timeline design, journey mapping, posters. We learn about branding, basics of branding for sure. And we learn lots about generative research, how to involve the user throughout your design process to have a fully validated experience, and user testing as well. And sometimes we even do user testing for industry projects. So for example, a company has launched their new app and they want us to test it out for them. And we sort of go through entire project where we can just user test their app for them. Here are some visuals. We also interact in global design charrettes and design competitions, and win prizes. Last year, actually only this year, one of our students has won a prize, and she participated in a design charrette in Europe. We work with wearable technologies all the time. We do a lot of eye tracking. That's a visual of an eye tracking experience. Again, that's another visual for eye tracking. So you can design a digital product and then you can eye track it to see if it's making the kind of, if it's meeting your goals or not. What else does our program offer? Well, it offers you a work placement. And it's about for 10 weeks. It's a full-time work placement. It can be done between year 3 and 4. And you've got a professional practice course that'll help you build your resume and your portfolio to get a work placement. And you have an option to do it within 2 or second or third year. And we also have a lot of options of doing exchange programs and international studies. Again, in semester 6, we can actually go and take a semester in another university. Humber has relationships with universities in Europe, in America, in different places around the world. You can pick one, apply, and you can go for an exchange experience as well. You can do an international exchange work placement as well. All this information is present on the website at the same time as I speak to you. So we've been to like different trips. Our students went to Fontys. It's a design school in the Netherlands. We've experienced that. We've done things with different schools in Denmark, etc. So you have that experience, and people do come to us as well. We have students that have joined Humber from different universities. We had somebody from Fontys last year, I think, and they wanted to come and try out our facilities and learn in our courses. So our usability lab is really a feather in our cap. And a lot of people do enjoy coming to see and experience our usability lab. At the same time, you're going to get an opportunity to do a lot of applied research. So working with industry partners, learning through practice. in class and outside class, to sort of innovate and come up with newer and finer experiences. We have our Center of Technology and Innovation. It's called the Barrett Center, CTI. It is brand new. It has the most amazing technological support, including a robot and 3D printers and whatnot. And it incubates startups. And we get a chance to work with them sometimes as well. You can also, so before we move on to what kind of job you will get for applied research, you can also get projects that are paid when you partner with other companies while you work within while you study within our program. So you're going to be creating a project and it'll be a part of your studies. At the same time, it can be a part of a research or a project with the industry. What kind of a job will you get if you choose Bachelor's of Design with a UX design focus? Right now, there is jobs like being a UX designer, a UX researcher, a UX strategist, being a digital manager, an interaction or a UI designer, and being even just somebody who would help out with everything, like a project manager and a digital manager. And there's so much more. And there's more and more jobs coming into our industry. Our salaries start pretty high and the market is only expanding at this point. Also, because of the unfortunate COVID circumstances, everything has gone digital. And nothing is going analog in the next few years, at least. So our job market is going to expand more in the next coming years.
I think we need to put service designer in there as well.
Of course, sorry. We should.
That's okay.
Yes, for sure. You can be a service designer. What do we do differently from other schools? Well, we have a commitment of designing for social good. So we're doing a lot of social good design work within our programs. For example, last year in one of my courses, I designed a website for a school for children who live way below the poverty line in Pakistan. And they go to this really good school. The school does a lot for these children, including teaching them physics and robotics and dance and culture and literature, but they didn't have the funding or the attitude, even the thought of creating an online presence. So my students, all 90 of them across 3 sections, we built them an online presence because deep down, I feel like our values sort of start translating into our projects as well. So we're committed to designing for social good. We're committed to being people-centered designers. And at the same time, you're going to learn how to do research and how to work based on research at Humber. Now, I feel like my rant is over and I'm so happy that I can speak to you.
So our next question is from Terrell, who specifically is wondering, so Terrell is actually our student who knows a lot about industrial design. Right. So the question is, could an interaction designer also be a UX designer?
100%. Interaction design is a branch of UX design. And you're just, so within interaction design, you're learning how to interact with, or you're actually designing experiences where you learn how to interact with an interface most of the times, right? 100%, you're going to learn it along the way. And it is a part of UX.
Is there anything that you wanted to add to that, Yvonne?
I think you'll learn a little bit of different parts of design, all grounded in research, and you can always specialize in something as you find more and more interest in one direction. You may come in thinking you're definitely a UI designer, but you might learn later on, you know, you might want to do service design, right? It depends on your passion, maybe how you're doing in the courses, and you might just pick up something that drives you in a different direction. You may not really know that at the beginning, or you might be a UX UI designer or a UX service designer. Like, you can have so many combinations coming out of this program because it's so well-rounded.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Asma.
I'm going to jump in. So I was having a chat with my first year students this morning, and I told them, consider this program, and especially your first semester, like a buffet. It's a platter where you get a taste of everything: interaction design, service design, UI design, design thinking. Maybe the first year or two, you're going to get a taste of everything. And around third and fourth year, you'd be able to refine and go deeper into what you would like to do as a career.
So our next question, and this is one that I can answer in part. This is another question from Anna. It's about what classes would look like next year. So Anna, at the moment, and I know this is not going to be a satisfying answer, but with the ongoing pandemic, it's very, we unfortunately don't have a crystal ball at the moment, but the health and safety of our students, faculty, and staff does remain our top priority. And so as the pandemic is evolving, we are continuing to follow the guidance of all public health authorities as we do plan for these upcoming semesters. So information will be online, available online at humber.ca/updates when some decisions are finalized. We are working to get that information available as soon as possible. Again, that's humber.ca/updates. And again, we know you need that information in order to make the appropriate decisions about your education. So please do keep watching that website, and that will be where any announcements will be made about the delivery method for upcoming semesters. But now I wanted to just ask you, Asma and Yvonne, how are you teaching your particular classes online in this environment?
So
Yvonne, I can start.
Yes.
I actually don't know any other way. I came into this straight from industry, right? So I've only ever taught online. And so far, I mean, I hear from my colleagues that it's usually more fun in person, but I'm still having fun with my classes. We're still interacting. They're delivering their projects on time, I guess on budget, and they're doing a really good job, right? So we have done things that we otherwise would not have done. So for example, we would do exercises in breakout rooms, and it's still collaborative, but usually you would do that in person. Now we have a mural board in front of us, and everyone's putting in their own thoughts, and everyone's still, turning on their cameras when they're in the breakout room. So we're still collaborating. That hasn't gone away. It's just a little bit different than maybe what you're used to.
I bet there's also lots of discussion around how to improve some of the online experience, considering you have a bunch of user experience designers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what about you, Asma?
So, I would say that I've taught online and offline both. We miss each other a lot. My students and I were like, oh, when will this end? We need to see each other one-on-one and face-to-face, because there's an entire, the connection is way stronger when you're in the same classroom. But at the same time, the output and the learning has been better online. Their assignments have become better quality. It's also because they're saving a lot of travel time. And what I feel like is eventually we'll probably end up with a mix of online and offline in a hybrid model, so that we do meet each other and do collaborative activities face to face, do our learning face to face, but whenever possible, we also work online to save energy and travel time and all those things.
Now, I'd want to ask, one of the things, I mean, this is such a unique profession. So what skills do you think make a good, or what skills do students need to succeed both in the program and then in the industry?
I can start. I think you need to bring a big dose of curiosity. We don't, society needs people who are curious to find out, maybe because of the pandemic, even more so. You question everything. and people who question stuff and observe things. That's how we can innovate. So that's what I think for me anyway.
It's a great answer. Asma?
I was going to say exactly that. You need to just learn how to question, ask the right questions, and be curious, like Yvonne said. At the same time, I would say just be open to trying new things, because I feel like everything is changing very quickly. So the skills that we're learning today will evolve into something else tomorrow. So being open to learning and adapting to the changes that are coming is also an important skill to have. You might end up learning a whole new program or a software 2 years after you graduate, right? But you need to go in with that learner mindset.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, here's a very, very specific question, and I think, you know, and both of you might be able to speak to this for your specific courses, but what is the ratio of group work to independent work in the program? And also, how many hours do students typically spend on homework versus in class?
Okay, so it depends course by course. Some courses are heavier on group work versus others. For example, there's a course on collaborative learning, so there's a lot of group work in that course. But otherwise, to give you a very general broad brush, it's 30 to 40% collaborative work versus, you know, 50 to 60, 70%. 60 to 70% individual work. But this can totally be tailored to each course. Sometimes some courses require you to do 70% group work as well. And I'll let Yvonne answer the other question.
I don't believe in homework. I believe in projects. Because when you start working, you don't get homework, you get projects. So I come from the perspective of preparing students for the workplace. So I try to mimic that as much as possible. I even try to talk to them like it's not an assignment, it's a deliverable. Just that whole mindset of, you know, when you talk to me, I'm your client, I'm not your professor. You know, so I think we just have that kind of relationship, and I treat my students like they are junior members of a team rather than students. So no homework.
That's a really interesting, you know, approach to instruction. So is it, if you had to define your philosophy of teaching, is that it, I mean, is that, could that be expanded to kind of encompass, you know, a philosophy of teaching?
Yeah, I even tell them, I know it's like a research project. I know you're doing interviews and all that, but think of it as also an opportunity to build your portfolio, because you might not have another research project under your belt before you start applying for jobs, right? Or you might not get another service design opportunity to do a project before you apply for a job. So this might be it, right? So as we go through the assignments, I try to coach the students as if we're in the workplace, so that, you know, that they're up to speed on, you know, this is actually going to be delivered to a real client.
That's one of, I think, the benefits of this program, of course, too, is the work integrated learning. And I'm wondering, because Asma, because you do have an extra year being on faculty full time, do you want to speak a little bit to the work placement component of this program? Just expand on that a bit.
So we have a work placement office that helps us finding work. We also have a course that builds into work placement, and that course helps you design your portfolio, pick up the right pieces, polish your portfolio, because you will be using your assignments and the projects that you've done in the last 2 years to show in your interview. So your work placement office also will train you for your interview, help you out with your personal narrative. At the same time, you're going to be taking a portfolio that'll also be sort of supported. And we also sort of pass on opportunities. There's lots of opportunities that our work placement officers get, and we try to match them to students whenever possible.
And another great, I think it's probably the best kept secret in the Faculty of Media and Creative Arts, but we're working on remedying that. We, of course, also have a number of industry liaisons, and these industry liaisons are fantastic. They are people who are currently working in industry, and they have been hired to basically help answer questions about what it's like to work in specific industries. So, for example, if you're a student who in this UX program and you think you might want to work in one industry specifically, you could connect with the industry liaison for advertising, for instance, or an industry liaison for music, for instance. You don't have to only speak to the industry liaison who is associated with user experience design. So that's another wonderful way that this program helps to prepare you for industry. So what, I know we're kind of coming up towards the end of time for our session. So I'll open this again to both of you. What do you think is the biggest misconception about user experience design, and then second, this particular program?
I can talk about the user experience design part.
You go ahead then first.
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception is that designers can just feel free to guess at what the end solution should be and just do it and it'll be accepted. So we'll teach you how not to do that.
Asma?
So the thing about this program is a lot of people enter the program because it says Bachelor's of Design. They applied thinking it's going to be graphic design and other design fields, but it's actually user experience design. So I've had some students first year, first day, that are still trying to figure out what user experience design is. And I always tell them, take this first week to learn what UX is. And then they're pleasantly surprised. They're like, you know what, we fit here better than we would have in another design field. Since it's an infant field right now compared to other design fields like, product design, etc., or industrial design, they've been around for like centuries, right? But with user experience design, since our program is called just Bachelor's of Design, and later if you start reading, it says UX focus, students don't understand that it's a heavily user experience design bachelor's program when they come in.
Absolutely. And I know that we have that because, of course, we also have a graduate certificate too. So there is some confusion that we actually have two very, very strong user experience design programs. And the major difference depends on where you are in your academic journey.
So I'm just going to jump in before I forget and lose my train of thought. This program teaches you around 70% UX and 30% of other design aspects. So if you want to learn branding, graphic design, different like industrial design, product design, you will learn everything. But the major and the core focus would be user experience design.
Oh, and that actually makes me think of something. So the play days, can you share a little bit about play days? Because that's also a wonderful opportunity to explore not only other design disciplines, but other interests in general.
Right. Okay. So Playdays is like one of our coolest things, guys. At Humber, we started Playdays about a year ago, and everyone, like, we have a cluster about 1,100 students, and all of them registered, and it was sort of optional in the beginning, and they all registered because Playdays is an entire week where you go out and practice and learn things, and get your hands dirty in projects that have nothing to do with your course at that point, right? So there were design charrettes that people were coming up with. You can group up with people all across the cluster. So you can have a friend in the graphic design program who would do your graphics for you, and then you could just come up with an entirely different project in a week. This semester we turned Playdays into something like a project because of the pandemic. Last year we had Playdays twice on campus. We had yoga classes during Playdays. We had learning how to doodle during Playdays. We learned about how to design UI for games. We learned about very interesting photography, how to do photography for Instagram and things like that in our Playdays. So you don't need to belong to a certain program to take a Playdays session. There's like a menu of Playdays sessions that you could pick and book for yourself, and they count towards a certain percent of your grade as well. If you've attended them, you get your grade.
And the Bachelor of Design program has also participated in a number of hackathons over the years as well. I believe one of the programs last year, one of the hackathons was involved there were a couple other programs within the cluster, as well as some from the Faculty of Applied Science and Technology, working with data from the Barrett Center for Technology Innovation and working on data visualization. So a very, very interactive, real hands-on project.
Yes, that was amazing. We do these things. By the way, I wouldn't say you're not married to the curriculum. You do have to cover the learning outcomes of your courses, but at the same time, you will get so much room to play in this program. Actually, all across our cluster, the play is encouraged, collaboration is encouraged, dreams are encouraged, big ideas are encouraged. And the end goal is, are you creating an impact, or are you working on self-care and mental health with Playdays in mind,
Yeah, and I think I'm not a user experience designer at all, but I think as an outsider, one of the misconceptions that I certainly had was just how creative this particular program is, and how outside the box it really is. And that whole design thinking process is really baked into the curriculum and the approach to instruction. It is not, as you said, I kind of chuckled when you put up the slide of the auditorium style classroom, because I know that is absolutely the antithesis to this particular program. On that note, it looks like that's all the time we have for today. So I am just going to put up our end slide there for those of you at home. So if we didn't get a chance to answer your question, or you do have any follow-up questions, please do email us directly. If your question is about curriculum, please do email the Programs Associate Dean, Heather Lowry. If your question is about admission requirements or the status of your application, or items such as residence or student scholarships, please email inquiry@humber.ca. Both email addresses are available on screen now if you'd like to grab a pen. Thank you again for sharing your evening with us, and we hope you'll explore everything that Humber has to offer via the virtual open house page. That will be online for the next few weeks at humber.ca, and we hope to meet you in the fall. Stay safe and healthy, and thank you again.